I've recently looked back at most of my Resident Evil 9 videos that I have made, and when I watched them, I was talking about the story, character roster, and setting more than anything else. And I watched a recent video that was about RE9 that had a segment talking about how or what the gameplay can be like. And that's what really inspired this video, so shout out to Rapid Crafter for making that video to help me with this one, because that's exactly what we are talking about today. So before we get into it, be sure to leave a like on this video. It makes a massive difference for it to reach the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel if you are either new or love Resident Evil, because that's what this channel is all about. So, I personally think RE9 is going to be the next game from Capcom with Resident Evil, and I feel like my anticipation for this game is honestly at its peak because I have no idea what to expect. Of course, there are some potential things that we do know about from leaks and rumors, but I do want to talk about one specific thing for this game that I feel like will be the second most important thing to the story, and that's the gameplay. Well, I mean, I'm stating the dead obvious here, kind of, but anyways. Resident Evil 8's gameplay is very interesting to look at now with RE4 Remake released. There were some new interesting features, and one particular that easily sticks out to me, because it was such a crucial part to how you played the remake, and it was the parry mechanic with your knife. In the original or remake, the knife is one of the most important weapons ever. But the mechanic was so addicting and fun to use, and I do question if the main or one of the main protagonists is someone from the likes of Chris or Jill. Is the parry mechanic still going to be a thing? Or is it just this kind of exclusive thing that Leon can use, or only just for RE4 Remake? Hell, if Leon is the main character in Resident Evil 9, is the parry mechanic coming back? Because we saw Ada use it as well. We saw Krauser use it in Mercenaries, so it definitely can be usable for all protagonists in the RE series. But I do believe moving forward we will be getting something to help trigger either a parry or a block that can lead into a combat move. Obviously, in RE8 you still have the guard mechanic from RE7, but Ethan punches and kicks a Lycan to create separation from him. It wasn't anything too crazy or as awesome as the parry, but it's little things like this that make me wonder what can possibly be next for that. And it is the little things that make the gameplay so much fun, which is why RE4 Remake's gameplay is tremendous, literally. As you used Chris in Resident Evil 8, you were able to send enemies flying by punching them after either a successful block using the guard or either getting bitten by a Lycan. As of right now, best I can speculate is honestly the exact same thing, but if Chris is just as good with a knife, I wouldn't be surprised if the parry mechanic came back. Nor would I have a problem with it because, again, it's fun, and RE4 Remake's gameplay is fantastic. One thing I do believe is now becoming a staple in Resident Evil games is the crafting feature, whether if it's for ammo or health or even grenades. The RE Engine Resident Evil games have used this feature, and I don't believe Capcom will stop doing so because it damn near has become, it feels like a necessity to get you through the game. I remember a long time ago I said that the crafting stuff has done its course and wanted it to be gone, but my mind has changed since then. I mean, you have the option to not use it, so I don't see why I complained back then, and I definitely think with remakes and newer mainline games, this stuff will be key, and I'm fine with that. Now, this is where my friend Rapid Crafter's video comes into play, and he mentions a question about if RE9 should be either first person or third person. His reasoning, in my honest opinion, was really good, and I might as well just repeat it. We have gotten so many games with the third person camera. All the remakes except for RE1, the entire Revelation series, damn near every single RE multiplayer game, Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, and now the Shadows of Rose DLC 2. It's not a bad thing to like third person. As a matter of fact, it's my favorite camera of the entire series as well. But I wouldn't mind sticking with first person for one last game. I don't think it should focus around the fact that Ethan is a faceless character, so that's because we use first person. There's obviously more reasons as to why they kept using it, and, why not continue to do so. I don't think it would necessarily hurt the game. It ups the horrors at a very good level, but at the same time, it does occasionally limit some really, really good gameplay. But one thing I am super glad about is the fact that RE Village added the third person mode, because now it is possible for RE9 to have both cameras in the game. Would you necessarily use one of them as DLC? I don't know, but there should be a way where you can make the players use both, like later on give us a free update of either camera after us playing with the first one multiple times. But I do believe if I had to choose a primary one for this game, I would genuinely go with first person, then later on add third person as like some sort of free DLC. It's a good method to make players use both, but I do feel bad for the people with motion sickness. Also, I do believe it will all depend on the setting and where this game will take place, because RE7 in the Baker House was a perfect use of the first person camera. Even though I did think third person was better to use in Village, it still did a very good job nonetheless with the first person camera. There actually is a thing that I did miss out on, so I just quickly want to say this. What if RE9 is co-op? With how the seeds have been planted, and if it is a Chris and Jill kind of game, many of us are going to want co-op. There easily can be a way where you can make a co-op Resident Evil game with good horror aesthetics and such, and RE9 can be that, and hell, if it turns out extremely well, and even the fact that co-op exists, it damn near feels like RE5 Remake is even more all but confirmed officially by Capcom. You tested the AI co-op in 4 Remake, you teased the game with the ending Wesker cutscenes, and now you add full-on co-op into RE9, like, come on, we know it's going to happen eventually, right? Now, another gameplay feature I do want to talk about is the merchant and upgrading weapons. The past 2 games we have gotten merchants that can upgrade our weapons and make us overpowered as shit. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, and I might get cooked for this take, but I really don't want neither of those for this game. Granted, I want upgrades, but in a different form, like how you could upgrade your weapons in RE2 and 3 Remake, rather than upgrading like crazy and somehow getting money out of the dead bodies of BOWs. Don't get me wrong, that shit is absolutely amazing, and I love merchants, and I love upgrading weapons and getting exclusive features on them, but I don't want that for a 3rd straight game. Same with having a village and castle. I think merchants should sometimes be an every once in a while kind of thing, because the last time we did have a merchant that wasn't RE8, this is before 2021, it was RE4 in 2005. I guess you could kind of say that RE5 did kind of have one, but it was like an end of chapter or after a death scene kind of a thing, and yeah, I guess so. Now, in terms of combat, I have no idea what to expect because I don't know if Capcom will keep it as to how RE4 Remake was and make it adapt to the strengths of someone like Chris who can just punch the shit out of you, or Jill with acrobatic kicks and squeezing your head with her thighs. I would really love to see one of those things desperately. And all of these wishlist gameplay features are, in my opinion, are all going to depend on what kind of enemies will we be facing. There is a consensus idea and enemy, but no confirmation whatsoever. So I do hope it is an enemy we can stun and hopefully punch them to oblivion, but also who knows. Could it be zombies? Could it just be, Wendigos and Skinwalkers that were the leaks from a couple years ago? Who knows? Now, probably the most important thing is, should this game take the action or horror approach? I think Capcom has gotten the message with RE6. I don't think they want another game like that ever again. Sure, it sold well, but it made Capcom go right back to square one with RE7. And for that, we kinda do have to be thankful for RE6, whether people like it or not. You can be thankful for multiple reasons for that game, but for the survival horror fans, you better be thankful in that way. I think RE8 was a very good balance between the likes of action and horror, from the darker areas in the castle, the baby in the house, and even the soldats with so much variety. It kind of had me in this phase like, what is next for them, and it was kind of terrifying seeing one in like full metal. Capcom definitely has the tools and technology to make action and horror be key and essential to this game. It just depends on how they're going to tackle it if Chris and Jill are the main protagonists. I feel like so many of us have speculated and made so much theories to the point where we would be upset if Capcom didn't take advantage of this cliffhanger. Speaking of cliffhangers, that word is going to be very important in one of my next videos coming up. And there was one thing that crossed my mind when I was scripting this video that I feel like a lot of people have not talked about, and I am now thinking of making a video talking about it. I won't give any teaser or anything, just be on the lookout for it. I might either drop it next week or maybe my next video. For RE9's gameplay, what do you guys want to see? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more Resident Evil content in the near future. And as always, I'll catch y'all on my next video. Peace out, and much love.